and gentlemen, welcome to the Froe Show. My name is Frank Menken and I'm joined, as always, by my beautiful co-host, Joe Murray.
Hello, Frank.
Hello, Joe. And we are joined by two beautiful guests. The first time we've ever had two guests on the show, which is a little bit exciting. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Well, yes. Hey, I'm Matthew King. Yeah, that's my name.
Awesome.
Yeah, great. And I'm Mitch Hughes. Nice to meet you.
Welcome. So, welcome to the show.
Two guests. That's wow. Okay, I feel special.
Yeah.
I mean, we feel special. I mean.
Yeah, so you guys have a film coming out soon. That's why you're here, really.
The only reason we're here.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Here for us, not
Yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about the general synopsis of the film, and then we can dive a little bit deeper.
Yeah, no, awesome.
Go for it, Mr. Director Man.
Oh yeah, sure. So basically, the story is about a princess and her brother living in this it's a fictional kingdom, but living back in the day, just having a nice old life until something happened. But essentially, it's just a kingdom in turmoil, and in the middle of it, it's just these two siblings trying to make a point to their father about who they want to be in society, and they're kind of like trying to break out of their predefined roles in there. So that's pretty much the story. Yeah, a little medieval coming-of-age story.
A nice little short story that kind of revolves around like defined gender roles and the stereotypes and all that kind of stuff, and trying to break free of that.
Yeah. Awesome. And how long have you guys been working on it?
Oh.
Well, a full year. For me, though, it's been since like the end of last year.
Yeah,
or even like mid through last year, because there was another film I was actually a cinematographer for, and while I was working on that, I was talking with some of the crew members and be like, wouldn't it be funny if we tried to do a medieval film at this uni? The one thing they say never works at a uni thing. And they're like, yeah, that'd be fun. And here we are at the end of this year. And
yeah, I remember him coming to me, like, I think it was November of last year, and he's like, hey, I'm thinking about doing a film, like, for graduation project. Do you want to join me? I'm like, yeah, sure. What are you thinking? And he's like, medieval. And immediately, 10 different alarm bells started ringing in my head. I was like, huh. And then I thought about it for a little more, and I was like, but if we actually managed to pull this off, imagine what people would think. And from that point, I was kind of hooked. And from there, we just kept we just kept going at the people we knew were good in our cohort, and just dragging whoever we could get our hands on, the good ones, to kind of mash this up.
And we picked the crew well. We had probably one of the best crews ever. Like, they just toughed through so much, and I feel like where some other crew members might crumble, they like went through it. They're like a really good film crew.
Yeah. Why did those alarm bells start ringing straight away for you? I think I have a kind of an idea, but I want to hear it from your mouth.
Producer logistic brains. He had to think about all the problems.
Because we don't produce. We're him.
For me, it was a few things. It was the first thing, which was one of our main problems in the pre-production phase. It was locations.
Yeah.
The first alarm bell was, we're trying to do medieval, like Europe, because that's where we were setting it, like European kind of medieval. In Brisbane. Yeah. And we're not really known very well from that. So it took quite a bit of problem solving and about 5 different people just to get one location that actually kind of fit the theme and worked with what we were trying to do.
Wow. Yeah.
Luckily, once we got that first one, kind of like a domino effect, they all started kind of getting into it. They started fitting in. People that knew other people were putting forth ideas going, hey, contact them, contact this place. And after a while, we found, I think it was, how many locations? 3 or 4?
I don't know. But
I think it was three decently manageable locations that we were able to, with the help of our amazing production design team, able to pretty up and kind of turn that into something that we could use for the film.
As we expected, it's not easy finding anything medieval looking in Queensland. So
no.
We're pulling our hair out. I should probably mention, by the way, the name of the film is Henrietta, for anyone wondering. I probably should have mentioned that earlier. But yeah.
Yeah, because it was a uni project. It was our third year, final film. This was what was going to make us and put us out into the industry.
Yeah.
We're obviously given a set time limit to do certain things.
Yeah.
And how many months did we blow by the location lockdown point?
I think it was probably the week before shooting. We still had one location we needed to lock in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And we had to start digging through all the locations we kind of I guess you could say you kind of put on the it's not going to work list.
Yeah, the back burner.
And the back burner list, and I found one that the production designer kind of vetoed, and I was like, I mean, it could work, and we managed to make it work. It was Fort Lytton, really nice stone location. Got to utilize a lot of the stone walls and stuff, and really just hang stuff up, make it look like the inside of castle walls.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that might actually be like about 4 days before shooting, wasn't it?
It was. We
dear.
originally it was meant to be 2 months before our first set of filming, because we got 2 lots.
Yeah.
One for our proof of concept where we got to test everything we were putting together and see how it worked, and then our second one, which was our actual this is the footage we're using.
Yeah.
It wasn't for a lack of trying though, because we spent that whole last week before like in a room just like looking up different places, trying to contact different people.
Yeah.
No one was interested in helping.
Yeah, it was. We just managed by like the skin of our teeth, thanks to Matthew's mother. Actually, we managed to find the location for our proof of concept, which was this nice little stone like crumbling house up in Moore. White kind of brick walls that we were able to kind of clear out the room, put in our props, and it actually worked very well.
Yeah.
As you can see with the film, if you want to come watch it. And after that, we wanted to keep using that because we got such good feedback. Everyone was saying the location and the design we used were absolutely phenomenal. So we were like, okay, lock that in. We're not going to be trying to find a different place when we've done so well here.
Yeah.
But then trying to find these other locations, it still took us, like Matt said, until the week before our official filming to actually find and lock in these locations. And it was just a very stressful time because we had, like I said, 4 to 5 different people on it at all times, constantly calling, emails. We tried maybe, would you say, about 20 different churches in the Queensland area.
Yeah. This Moore place was like a historical Australian colonial era type building.
Yeah.
So some of the stonework kind of worked in our favour. So.
And luckily the owners there were very lovely.
Lovely people.
They gave us obviously some ground rules: don't touch the walls, don't nail anything in.
Yeah.
Obviously abided
You know
by
what?
that.
Fair enough.
What was it they said when we first went out there? They're like, you know, you can nail stuff in the walls, but know that it's about $20,000 for like a small chip off the wall. And we were like, yeah, we're going to very carefully avoid that.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah, wow.
So after all that production design was done, how much did you end up filling in later or like fixing up in post with VFX and things like that? Or was it mostly like on set?
In terms of like the design and the structure.
Yeah.
Well, our production design team did a really nice job at dressing the sets.
Yeah.
So there's maybe some spots where we thought the walls were a bit empty. We kind of had the VFX guy go in and like add in a few different bit of wall hangings and stuff.
Yeah,
but that was only for like one scene.
Yeah.
And maybe another scene where a sign was there when it shouldn't have been, and we had to get rid of that. But
as far as we're aware,
we tried to do it very practically.
the actual production design itself was mostly all handmade. Like he said, I think it was just from memory serves, because I've had to rewatch it a few times lately. It's one painting in one scene, and then the sign in the other scene, and that was it. The rest of it was all stuff done on set.
That's really impressive.
Some locations were a bit more modern looking than we would have wanted, but I think we did a pretty good job at kind of shooting it in a way where you won't notice it, hopefully.
Yeah.
We don't want to break your immersion when watching it. But yeah, I think,
Yeah, I believe our cinematographer used angles well enough to kind of map out what would be the modernised world around it.
Yeah.
Clive De Silva, very talented DOP. Totally
Absolutely.
recommend him for any work. Sorry, I'm not plugging him or anything.
You can plug whatever you want. That's kind of the whole point of this show.
Just pull out the list of crew, we'll plug everyone.
Yeah, genuinely, if you want to plug people, feel free.
Should have brought a medieval scroll to...
Bring some props, bring the swords.
How big was the production design crew? Like, it sounds massive.
I think we had the biggest, for obvious reasons.
I don't know. I think the Minotaur maze might have actually topped us out, but that's only because that was there was one. All of us were obviously one camera short films, like drama comedies, all that kind of stuff. There was one crew called The Maze and the Minotaur who decided to do like a live TV studio thing.
Oh wow!
And that actually, like, no offense to them, we love them all, but that's actually where a lot of resources actually went in the beginning.
Right.
Because with a TV studio, they needed 3 directors. I believe it was 5 DOPs.
Oh wow!
They needed a lot of crew, so it kind of like ate up.
So that was a
lot
live
of
studio
people.
thing. So they're doing live switching and things like that.
Yeah. So
Oh,
there was
wow,
all these
okay.
like extra people kind of going, and we found that across all the other films, like some of our teachers were saying this, like some of us were missing heads of department, which you very much need when you're doing a project this big, and to be missing that, it kind of messed with some of us a little.
Yeah.
I know that me personally, I didn't have a production manager with me, so I had no one who could at all times be focusing on the budget and keeping an eye on that.
Yeah.
So there were a few times where I accidentally let the budget slip a little bit, and we got.
But you handled it very well considering you were doing 2 people's job.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for that. Yeah.
But I mean, that's how it goes, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen.
Like
on
you did
any
amazing
kind
work
of-
considering that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, our production designer, meanwhile, was just kind of sitting there like, I've got no one. But we managed to source like a whole bunch of first and second years who were very interested in working on the film. And they could have fooled me. They did not come across as first and second years. They were very resourceful, they just cared about what they do, which I suppose you want that if you go into uni. But we had a very passionate art crew that just... I think put probably more effort than they probably should have into it. I mean, it's appreciated, but it's like they put a lot of work in, and you can. I think when you watch the film, I think you'll be able to see all the little intricacies with the production design and all the little cute stuff they've added. Like there's some things you won't see in the film they try to do. Like Henrietta, the main character, she's got like a little war map where she's like emulating her father's war map from the film. And she's got like all her dolls and stuff to try and replicate, like copy her father. Unfortunately, that wasn't able to make it into the film. But like that's the level of work that went into the
Wow.
production design. Just that.
Just meticulous, like little details.
Yeah, and like
Crazy
me giving them
stuff,
the characters and them trying to like come up with different like things they would have and stuff. And like, it was
Like to give you an idea, it was basically about 3 to 5 cars full worth of props that the art department was shipping in and out of each set, moving things along, kind of divvying up what needed to be done. I think, again, for first and second years, plus their designer, who was one of our third years, they did an absolute phenomenal job. They got in, they didn't muck around, despite it basically being their first set, because they still were in the whole paperwork phase. They weren't actually on set before what they did with us.
Yeah, wow.
So for them to come on set for the first time and just immediately crack on, take directions well from our production designer, I think they actually managed to do quite a lot, and actually we should be very proud of that.
yeah, that's a new thing too, isn't it? Because ever since COVID came along, they've been doing things a lot differently at the uni now.
Yeah, they had a shift in the schedules where we used to get 12 weeks and then all the subjects were done at the same time. They get 4 weeks of intensive subjects, so one at a time. And they were still doing that and then coming to film sets from like 3 in the afternoon to 3 in the morning. Like,
But I
they
mean,
were
it looks great on like their resume and things like that.
absolutely,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was this the biggest production that you guys have been a part of?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been
Was
a
there
nice
anything that
work
like
up.
took you by surprise?
The amount of burnout I felt, like through the
Yeah.
middle of the year, I just,
Yeah.
I was prepared for it. I mean, I knew it was going to come. I just didn't know how early it was going to come.
Yeah.
That took me off guard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
wow.
like, how did you work through that? Because that's like, it happens all the time to a lot of creatives. Like, they get so deep in a project that they don't really realize quite how much energy they're putting into it.
Yeah.
So what was your process like once you like, how did you realize that? Like, how did you work through that?
Well, I mean, probably, yeah. Okay, I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I think there was definitely towards riling up to production. I think that definitely got the better of me. My energy just kind of, and there were certain things that I kind of didn't get done like as soon as I should have, and it kind of slowed production down in quite a few places. And I still regret that a lot. Feel a lot of remorse for that because it was putting other people's jobs in jeopardy. But that's pretty much what I learned from that. How I got through that was just perseverance.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, well, I've screwed up. I've got to try and work hard and just like do all this work. Like, anyway, like a lot quicker than I should have, but it's all about scheduling with me and doing that on time. But no, I had an amazing crew. They were very understanding and they helped me through it.
There's a lot of moral support around
Oh
you as
yeah,
well.
absolutely.
We had about like 5 different people where we would all come in, sit down, because he was also the script writer as well as the director.
Yeah.
So obviously doing those 2 different jobs, having to focus on the shots and the script itself, a bit much for him. So we came in, we sat down with him, and we just kind of we just constantly gave him opinions, kind of pointed out things that we didn't think make sense, and helped him.
And I'm not going to pretend to be an amazing writer. I felt my main area of expertise, directing. That's where
Yeah.
that's where I thrive on set. I don't know why I'm always smiling on set. I mean, sometimes when I'm not looking serious, but I just enjoy.
I don't remember
Yeah.
you being serious at all on set. I'm going to be completely honest.
But yeah, I was pretty giggly the whole time, wasn't I? Considering the stress.
You were very, very happy just to be in the moment once you got on set.
Yeah. But no, I worked with someone called Anastasia Adair. She actually helped me with a lot of the script writing. I'm planning on working with her in future with other films. It's really good to have someone that's just like their main passion's writing.
Yeah.
Because when you're the director and you're trying to write for filming, it's like you can just kind of get lost in the, I don't know what to call it, the bureaucracy of writing.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right. It's not quite the word I'm looking for. But yeah, I just don't really enjoy the writing phase as much. I get an idea in my head, but getting it on paper is really hard.
Yeah.
For me anyway. But
Yeah.
that's why I'm planning to team up with the writers in future. So.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
smart. That's interesting. That's a big difference to because we had a friend of mine, Sam, on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he's a writer-director. So he
Ooh.
directs everything, writes everything himself,
Okay.
Wow,
and
okay.
then obviously hires like cinematographers and DPs, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to hear your perspective on that. So you'd rather just get the idea, get someone else to write it, and then direct.
I wouldn't say get someone else to write it because I get a vision in my head and I got a pretty clear idea of the messages and feelings I want to get across. And I would usually want to be in the writer's room when that's happening.
Yeah.
It's just I can really struggle sometimes, especially with dialogue, just to get the story to come out naturally and organically and come out how it should for a script. You know, I wouldn't say I'm as experienced as I should be in script writing as some other people would be.
So I guess more like you'd like to be in the room, give them the building blocks, and let them kind of string the words around it.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you written or directed your own script before this film?
Oh gosh, I'm gonna think. This I should probably say this is probably the first time I've properly just done it.
Yeah.
like a big deal. It's like a big 15-minute film written, directed. It's my first time properly doing that.
Probably the first one with like a sizable budget, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I think I maybe directed a few things in the past, but I don't think it was anything too big or anything to be
I've
proud
definitely
of.
directed a few things.
But no, I think this is the first big thing I've actually written and directed.
Yeah.
So.
Well, on the topic of directing, let's go all the way back. What was the first thing that you directed / like what's the first film that you made?
Oh gosh.
I can talk about mine if you.
I'm just thinking about it. I was like wondering, like I could send it to you guys to put on the show, but it's too embarrassing.
Now remember, kids may watch this.
Oh yes, so probably not. No, okay. I think the first thing I actually did with some friends. Some of you guys might know him from school, Calvin.
Yeah.
Yeah. We made a film about Slender Man. It was literally just a found footage film of us with like some little handheld like cameras just running through the forest being like, he's here. It's like flashlights and it's like it's me just we're all playing like the characters and we're all taking turns with the camera. No, it was dreadful.
Yeah.
I think the second one we did was about an alien probing us. And then the last one we ever did, and probably for good reason we needed that break, was just a parkour video.
Oh yeah,
just intentionally being bad at parkour.
Yeah. No, of course.
That was like pre-graduation.
Yeah.
And then I
would love to see the Slender Man one.
Absolutely.
That's the one I can't track down. I was able to find the others, but my friend just deleted that one. He salted it off the face of the planet.
No idea
Like,
how
I
disappointed I am now.
I know.
Yeah.
I keep on asking him for it, and he's like, "Mate, you're never gonna find it."
It's gone. Well, my first short film ever was also a found footage film.
It always is. Isn't it?
It's always like, yeah, I've got a Sony Handycam, like I'm ready to go.
Oh wow. Well, what was yours about?
Mine was written by me, so it was not based on any current IP. And I also did my first ever day to night in that, so that was a bit exciting. It was terrible, but I tried. I did my best.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and I had like this really cheap like big W drone. Like the plastic ones that have like the 480p camera. Yeah. I had like one drone tracking shot that I couldn't check at all until I got to the computer. So I just like did a bunch of takes of the same shot and was hoping it was right. And it was like grainy and gross because all the rest of the footage was like 720 and it was it was terrible. We had a great time. It was fun.
Wait, you're talking about like an actual like flying drone, right? Yep.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
cool. Yeah, no, I've tried using drones for filming before, and Maybe I just wasn't using the right drone, but the footage never turns out that nice for me. I don't know. I just got to get more experiences filming drones.
Yeah,
that way.
it really depends on the drone.
I really just refuse to put drone controls in my hands because it just never ends well. I'm not kidding. The last time I had drone controls in my hand, it was a second year assessment, and my friend had this like $1,000 drone. We're flying it over a dam.
Oh no.
And he goes, mate, you want to give it a go? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll give it a try. He puts it in my hands, and it immediately starts nosediving. And I'm like, I thrust it back towards his hands. I'm like, nope. And he luckily got it under control. But I was like,
no.
I'm not risking that.
Yep.
Hell to the no.
my.
That's it.
Oh, that's terrifying.
You haven't told us what one of your first films were yet, because
Yeah.
I'm keen to hear
Yeah,
this.
here we go.
I haven't heard this yet.
I don't even know, actually, because...
Anything you're involved in, really.
Yeah, because for me, it's been an interesting kind of pathway since high school. Because in high school, I really didn't have a direction.
Yeah.
I was just getting through. I wanted to get to the end of it.
Yeah.
Once I got to the end of it, I decided to enroll in a Diploma of Animation. And that was like a year. Went and did that. You got to learn all the VFX, did a bit of green screening, but never made any films. And then once that was over, we're like, do I want to keep going with animation? Do I want to switch over to main like films? And as much as I loved animation, I could kind of feel the pull more towards like kind of like actual TV shows and the movies and all that kind of stuff. And so I decided to drive over to film.
The way you tell the
And-
story was like you accidentally plopped into film. It was like, oh, I'm here now. Whoops.
Well, it kind of was, because there was a point, I think the first couple of months, the first day of year one, I have no idea why, I don't understand how I got it into my head, but I thought I was enrolled into the Bachelor of Animation.
Oh, I thought you meant like you were going
school.
all the way back to grade one. You're like, I remember 2004.
2004, it was a good year.
My baby teeth were just coming in.
I picked up Flubber on VHS.
It really defined my
Wait,
personality.
I have Flubber over there.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Anyway, sorry, carry on. Your first year of uni.
Yeah,
Your first year of uni.
I don't know what got into my head, but I thought I was in the animation degree, so I just rocked up to there like O-Day, and they're telling me where all the different buildings are, and I'm like, this sounds right, but something feels off. And then the next week I started getting emails, and they're like, Mitch, why aren't you in classes? And I'm like,
I am.
what? Huh? And yeah, no, it turns out I missed an entire orientation. I had to go back and get someone to kind of show me through all the different buildings again and show me where the right rooms were. That was a fun week. But first film, I can't put my mind on it. First proper film, because obviously we did a bunch of assessments where it was like little short videos.
Yeah.
We'll film it with your friends.
Make an
be the
abstract
actors.
film that makes you feel happy.
Yeah, I did do like this
Forget
little
sound design.
30-second like horror film thing. If that I could consider
counts.
my-
That absolutely counts.
Yeah.
If
So-
it's genre, it counts.
If it's genre, oh god. Yeah, so that was great. So
Oh yeah, fan.
I went into I have a little forest next to my house. I went into the forest with about 3 friends. I pulled out, I don't know if any of you watch anime, but I pulled out a Ken Kaneki mask.
I have no idea what that is, but it sounds it's like weeb stuff.
It is intense weeb stuff. I put that on myself, and we just filmed basically this cannibal in the woods thing where they chase someone down, and it's obviously
Did no one
like
question the anime mask?
No one questioned it. Wow. The anime mask, all the little blood capsules that I just had.
No copyright issues as far as we knew.
No, none yet. I might have some pending when I get home, but
Maybe later.
we'll see. But yeah, that probably, because it was like completely silent too, besides like a backing track.
Yeah.
So that counts. That counts.
That definitely counts.
Yeah.
I don't want that being my
But you know what? You forgot sound design, so
Design.
We certainly did not forget sound design for our film.
Matter of fact, he's still
We're still working
going.
on the sound design.
Really? Yeah.
We had the opportunity to
takes
still
forever.
work on the sound for our film, yeah, and we're still doing the music. Well, actually, the music's supposed to be finalised tonight. So
ooh, that's exciting.
it's the music's now better and improved as well as the sound design. So, yeah, nice way to little segue there back
Yeah.
to.
yeah, absolutely.
But we
'Cause
did
it-
not forget about sound. Sound is very
It was
important.
because it was at a good level. Like we were happy with what we had when we submitted it, but
we handed a version into the uni, and we felt like there were still things we wanted to improve and make perfect for when everyone else sees it at the big screen. And yeah, that's what we've.
Because the common thing with our grad festivals is our grad films is that once we're done with it, some groups in obviously past years, they just drop their film, like they've done the assessment, it's all done.
Yeah.
What the university encourages you to do is actually take your little short film and show it everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't see why you wouldn't.
Cinemas,
And
absolutely.
that's his job too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is my job. Like looking at festivals, like what are the requirements, what ones we can get into, what ones we can't. Like for example, if you have had an official premiere, there are some festivals that will lock you out because like you've had it on the big screen, you've had it in front of audiences.
Interesting. So you have to make the decision between whether you want to premiere it or premiere it at the film
Yeah,
festival.
which is why like we do have the premiere. And at first it was going to be like a friend and family one. It was going to be like, a bit of a hush-hush. But eventually we were just kind of like... Because I have been researching recently about all the different festivals and I wasn't actually finding many. There were a couple, but not many where they actually locked you out just because it was in a cinema.
Yeah.
And I think...
Which is a
lot of
strange
them-
requirement, really.
It is a bit. I don't quite understand why they're like... I guess you do, because
Well, it's strange because you want your friends and family that have been waiting the entire year to see what you've been doing and get to see on a big screen. It's like it's a bit unfair for them to have to wait God knows how long until it's done the festival run.
Yeah.
But it starts getting quite technical once you get to that stage because like some festivals they see in cinemas as like a weekly schedule. It's box office. It's got all the different things, advertisements, everything. And others are just like you've shown it in a cinema.
Yeah, right.
And it's about finding which ones are meaning what because once you submit it and you send the money, I don't think you get that back. So if you don't pay attention to
it's a
the
deposit,
festivals, all the different requirements, there is a potential. Like I'm sure some of them would be nice about it, but I have heard that at a few festivals, just they're like, you weren't following guidelines, like you did not get through, but you've paid money to submit it.
Yeah.
So that's what it's done. And
Right.
Wow.
Do you want to talk about sound design a little bit?
Yeah.
Keep in
I mean, that
mind,
is your job.
neither of us are experts in the field, just so you know.
Yeah, right. So when did you start sound design then? So you'd filmed it, edited, and then sound design kind of started?
That's, you film, you
so-
go through the editing stage and you pretty much just wait until it's all locked off. Then you pass it over to color grading.
Or at least
and
we
sound.
tried to.
Well, yeah. We had a couple difficulties there, which we can cover if you would like.
Absolutely.
Please.
Difficulties are where we thrive.
Yeah.
So traditionally, you're supposed to have a locked film, and the sound design. We decided to hell with that. We got certain scenes that weren't filmed in time, so we had to have blank parts. But there was also a whole intro thing that we didn't get filmed either. We had to film that later. So we were constantly kind of going backwards and forwards. A few times we had to change some of the footage for the while we were in the sound design stage. We had to go back and. Okay, it's not as bad as I'm making it out to be, but it's well, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
And we there were certain scenes we probably should have got shot a lot sooner, but yeah, nah. It kind of messes with the whole workflow and stuff. But
in the defense of the editing team and the sound design, we had a couple of complications with scheduling when it came towards our official shoot, which was I think the 6th of July to the 13th.
oh, that's a whole nother can of worms too.
Yeah,
schedule.
we had a situation where certain actors couldn't make it and we had to kind of switch with different crews. And therefore that actually put us on this accelerated timeline.
Right.
Because all the post-production stuff, the university locked. So whatever we were in.
Right.
So when we swapped out with a different crew, what we actually did to ourselves was that we were the last ones filming, but we were the first ones that had to bring in finished items. And that's where it kind of created this like bottleneck situation where we kind of put pressure on the departments to kind of push out stuff a little quicker, which is why some things had to kind of go back later on, which isn't, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm sure they do it in like the bigger industries, like you have to go back. Because obviously there are complications once you get
they're
into the sound
constantly
design.
just back and forth and changing things in the industry. all the
Like
time.
you think sound will work with one shot, but you actually then have to take a different take because something's not clicking or you've missed a certain aspect of it.
Yeah.
and it just happens. But I
Not
think
great practice.
not great practice to do it. But in the end, I think our team handled it quite well
Yeah.
because we did. Yes, would you like to say something?
No, you go first.
I've lost my train of thought.
I was going to say, but yes, sound design. What other questions do you have?
Yes, back on track.
I was also going to say, I have worked on a film where it's gone back and forward between sound, and I was the sound designer, and
We weren't proud of it. We tried
back
to
and
avoid
forward
it.
between editing and sound design.
Please don't hit me.
And yeah, it is a bit of a nightmare. I just realised that.
Yeah, go fix it then.
Oh, I'm talking though.
Yeah, well,
So you
During his summer,
you would have had a lot to you go. You would have had a lot to do with, or you would have been to a lot of the sound design sessions, no doubt. What kind of stuff did they have around to come up with all like the Foley and like medieval sound? Were there any really strange things that you're like, what is this doing here?
So in terms of just like what we found during the making of the filming, or
No,
like,
I think he more means like what you've added in, like the different things that Stephen Fennell, our sound designer, great bloke, there's different things
Class
that
for
he
Stephen.
used to create the sound, so like the Foley effects. Like sword
Well, I remember one of the
clashes.
big things one of our lecturers was talking to us about, because he's worked on done sound design quite a lot. He mostly specializes in directing, but he had a nice history in sound design. He goes on about this expectation versus reality, and it's like the reality of what something sounds like isn't quite often what audiences have come to expect in your films. What's an example?
An example I think I remember being that because our sound effect artist, he had like actual steel swords in his house that he clashed in his backyard to kind of simulate that, and he did it numerous times to create different versions of the sound. And then we came in with with that guy, and he was like, expectation versus reality. Actual sword clashes are not what you expect to hear.
Yeah.
What you would expect to hear is something like two spoons hitting together, and we all were a bit stumped by that, where we're like, but we have actual swords doing what it's intended to do. And then we listened to it back, and it kind of made sense.
yeah.
It is just that kind of reality gap between what you expect actual things to sound like and what it's been ingrained in your head through various films and various things you've seen.
Yeah,
And it just kind of
sound design's been a huge learning curve for me on this film.
Absolutely.
Like especially, there's a part in the film where a certain character loses a finger, and trying to get the sound of a sword hitting the hilt of a sword, and then the noise of that finger coming off. It's like we couldn't. There was like 2 months where we just couldn't get that sound to sound right. Just sound effects are weird. What else was there? As footsteps, I noticed that because the main characters like these 13-year-old kids, they'd naturally be a lot lighter on their feet. A sound designer used his own shoes, so all the footsteps sound a lot heavier than they should have. We had to go back and work on that too. What other things did we bump into?
I think doing the battle cries and all the
that was
fighting.
another
that
big
would be
one.
fun.
Like going into it, I kind of just thought, okay, well, there's a big siege happening in the background. Spoiler, that we don't get to see for obvious budget reasons. And
What do you mean? It totally happened. We just forgot to look at it.
Yeah. We were just looking over here. Yeah, exactly. Suddenly the table was really interesting.
I'll try to let him down easy.
Look at the battle map. Look at the battle map.
But yeah, I kind of naturally went to that being like, oh yeah, there's stuff happening in the background, we'll just wing it. And they were like, no, okay, you've really got to go into depth about what kind of story's happening in the background of your story. So me and the sound designer had to actually go into a room and actually kind of map out what different things are happening. And then like, I suppose it's not too much to bring up in the interview. There was like, we had a thing where it was originally just people screaming and yelling and sword fighting and stuff and running around. And it was just random sound. It obviously sounded random. But then once we mapped out this story of, okay, well, some horses like are led out of this stable and they're running rampant through the castle and people are getting bumped into, and certain people are getting chased, soldiers are clashing at a certain point. We actually mapped out a story in the background, and that really actually fleshed out the sound design and made the atmosphere actually feel really real. And now when I think you watch it, it doesn't really feel like we've just slapped on background sound. It actually feels like there's something else happening where we're not... And it's a shame. Like, we really wanted, like, we were trying to get nights and stuff on the film where there was a point where we were getting really close, but there was a certain...
There were various points where we tried to get in these different, like, armor groups and people that would come in with swords and stuff and fight for us. And on numerous times we got quite close to getting it, but then there were barriers such as some of them... they were like teamed up with bigger projects. Like some of them came to us and were like, "Yeah, we're with Netflix. You can't really afford us." We were like, "Understandable, yada yada."
Right.
Like we're a student film. We cannot afford much. We did get onto one group where originally we were told it was going to be they come in, they do the sword fights. We give them a good meal because we were obviously cooking big meals on set.
Yeah.
We give them this big meal. They do some sword fight for us, and then they go home.
Very professional.
And then
Very professional.
towards I think it was 2 weeks before shoot, we're like messaging, checking in, like, hey, you know, like, very happy to have you, like, what kind of meal, what do you guys want? And then they came back and they're like, yeah, very excited, what's our pay looking like? And I just kind of stopped for a second. I was like,
we were put in touch with them through a stunt guy we worked with, so we heard different things, but yeah. That's a whole another big topic of just trying to find reenactors to help with the film.
Which I think in the end we did quite well. Not with people such as, because we didn't get a whole lot of people outside of the cohort besides actors and a few extras. But in terms of props, there was a very lovely reenactment group called Riverhaven. They work on the north side. They're a little group that just kind of get together every week and map out and have a bit of fun with it. And we were it sounds really bad, but because COVID and everything was happening, the Abbey Festival, one of the biggest kind of medieval festivals that happens around Brisbane, was cancelled.
Right.
And from that, we were then able to kind of step in and be given a lot of resources because it was no longer be able to use. It was a very sad thing, but it did benefit us in a way that
I was a bit torn. I wanted to go to the Abbey Festival this year.
Yeah, you were actually quite keen. I remember that.
But yeah, so what Mitch is trying to say is that because the Abbey failed, we got some extra help.
You got stupid lucky.
But
we got stuff that actually fleshed it out a lot more, which
Yeah.
helped all the kind of departments.
the really sad irony is, I think out of the dozens of reenactment groups we contacted, I think most of them were too busy planning for the Abbey Festival for the year.
That actually was, yeah.
And then, of course, it got cancelled like a week before, and it's like, you couldn't have cancelled that like a month or two ago, so we could have more time to get in contact with these people and be like, okay, well, you're not doing the Abbey thing anymore.
Yeah.
Would this be a nice alternative?
The dreaded Rona just strikes in at the worst possible time.
And I thought it would have been a really good opportunity to actually kind of show that reenactment groups can kind of come together as a community and build a really awesome medieval film.
Yeah, but clearly not. So.
Maybe they'll see this film and have second thoughts and be like, oh, okay, maybe we'll come back for the sequel. But yeah, no, getting those resources and help was tricky, but we did for Riverhaven, they were amazing.
Yeah.
We got costumes, bits of armor, even the art department and the costume, they got some things we weren't even expecting, bits of armor and stuff. But going back to sound,
well, actually, like leading back into sound, using those extra bits actually helped us kind of with the sound design as well, because it was stuff like the chainmail. We got given some lovely pieces of chainmail, which
some of that plate armor sounded really bad on the mics. I'm just going to say right now.
Yeah,
we had to do a bit of sound design for that.
But without those pieces, I feel that we would have lost a certain element, because obviously I'm sure you know, like you've done these kind of projects before. It's all about the layering, putting the different things on top of each other, and just having those little things like the foot movement, the chainmail, the little kinks when a sword hits like a little piece of armor or something like that. Those are the things that make it realistic and help flesh out the entire kind of story for when people watch it.
Yeah. And I apologise, I don't have much else to talk about with sound. I'm not much of an expert on the matter. If I had my sound designer here, he could probably talk for hours.
If there are any more questions though, fire away though. I'll see what I can do.
Well, so and the music as well, that wasn't done by your sound designer, that was someone else?
No.
A certain man called Joshua Robinson, which you guys might
No
know.
way!
Yeah,
Oh,
Josh. But we all went to school with each other.
Right.
Yeah, that's probably, we probably should have mentioned that.
I see. My time to leave.
Yeah, Josh did the music, and
insane.
yeah, phenomenal. I brought him onto a project I worked on as a cinematographer last year, and he did the music for that, which was a sci-fi. This was a challenge for him because he's had to go from what he's used to on this sci-fi film, which is a lot of electronic
Plink plonk.
hip hop.
Yeah.
Well, not hip hop, but he mostly does hip hop music. Have you guys ever heard his work?
I haven't.
I have. Yeah, I know it's
but
kind of more.
that was
electronics
an
and
easy
stuff.
transition into electronic sci-fi style music, which he did for a film last year. This year he's had a real big challenge, and so much props to him. It's taken him a while, but he's really made the music something. I'm really looking forward to you guys hearing it. He's managed to kind of use what he's learned from that and kind of transition it into trying to make his digital work translate into organic medieval sounding instruments, because I was really hammering on that it needs to sound like a medieval song, and he's just like, all I've got is a computer and a keyboard. But yeah, no, it's really impressive work he's done. And this most recent music he sent in was
Yeah, wow.
but he had a fun time trying to do the music for this film, and looking forward to working with him again.
Yeah.
Well, let's
Awesome.
move it. We got probably 15, 20 left, I think, give or take.
15 minutes.
Yeah, 15. In this last little 15, I want to talk a little bit more about the general creativity of you guys.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit each about your creative journey, kind of what makes you excited? What do you look forward to? What's the one thing that gets you so excited about creating films every day?
Yeah. Well, I honestly, there was a part this year where I was kind of stressed out of my mind, and I was like, do I really want to do film? But then I kind of being on set, because I think I learnt quite a lot about directing in between our practice. So have you guys ever heard of a proof of concept?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a proof of concept, which I'll be the first one to admit wasn't the best director on that.
But you learnt a lot from that.
I learnt a lot. Yeah. My lecturer too put me onto a really awesome book called Directing Actors by, oh gosh, this is embarrassing. I don't remember her name. It's a really good book, Directing Actors. Really learnt a lot from that book. And even on the proof of concept, I really got to learn a lot about working with actors. And I kind of, on the second, the actual full filming on principle for the... I feel like I kind of, as cheesy as it sounds, I think I kind of rediscovered what got me into film in the first place. I could feel myself actually being comfortable as a director and giving direction and working with the actors. I love working with actors. I felt like I was able to give better direction, and because of that, through the comfortableness of that, I was able to explore characters a lot more and get into the nitty gritty, the emotions and the scene and stuff. And it was one day, it was one of the really emotional scenes where our lead actor, Tira, had to just tear up for this scene. I freaking lost it behind the camera. After this little bit of direction I gave her, I got really into the emotions of this scene, and I'm just standing behind the camera and I'm crying. And I think in that moment I was like, this is why I got into film. It's I get to tell stories that I wouldn't otherwise get to live, and you can kind of, as a director, I feel like I can kind of immerse myself in that story a little bit and just, don't tell anyone I told you guys this, but the cinematographer also cried a little bit too. He didn't admit that until after, but him and I are crying. And then we call cut, and Tira just turns around and is like, "Are you guys crying?" It's like, man up. And I was like, oh, I mean, you were just, whatever. Okay. Next scene, that was a print or whatever. But it's, so basically I thought there was a moment where I was going to, I wasn't sure why I was doing this, and I discovered that I really, truly, and even after it's all said and done, all the burnout, all of it, I've loved working on this film so much, and I've loved seeing all the crew grow through this experience, and I just can't wait until my next film. And someone's moving to England and won't be able to produce for me.
I told you I'll be your overseas distributor.
Oh yeah, true.
I'll do it all through Europe. But that's the best I'm going to be able to do.
Tell us about your journey.
My journey? Oh. Well, I think this is going to sound cheesy, but my journey begins...
It's always going to be
Always.
cheesy.
It's always
will
the
be.
cheese.
Yeah, that's fair. Back in high school, it used to be that... I'm not going to lie, I wasn't the most social kid back in those days.
None of us were.
I used to spend most of my lunchtime sitting in the library reading books and different stories, and I think it was from there that I started kind of taking these different stories and either putting myself in them and kind of changing the way that it happened, or I would take the elements from the story and just kind of construe it and change it and kind of make it something fresh. And from there, I just kind of developed this urge to take everything that I see and kind of funnel it through and make it different stories for different kind of meanings. And once I got into film, I really found exactly where I kind of wanted to be in terms of producing, where, I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit of a control freak. So where
You're not a control freak? What are you talking about? A certain director wasn't doing his job properly.
But yeah, having to be the person that everyone goes to, be the person that can help fix all the problems by kind of reaching out to people. I like that because I can help them create a better picture. And then also with script writing, I found that it helped me visualize and express the stories that I've wanted to express quite well.
Yeah.
And now I'm at this point where I want to make my own scripts and make my own stories and kind of put them out there to the big companies, which I am trying to do currently. And if I can, also kind of take on, not an executive producer, because they're more of like the funding and the backlog and everything. But I would like to be at some point like writing scripts and then gathering a crew, a director, like all the different pieces and kind of overviewing the project. Because like Matt said with his directing, like it's about, I have the vision, but the director in that will have the specific kind of eyes for what's going to look good on the screen, whereas I have the image of the story and
How
the
it's
bigger
gonna
picture.
feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Awesome. Oh, those are some really nice answers.
Wholesome hours.
I really like that. All right. Well, I will ask two more things.
Go for it.
You can ask as much
unless
as you want.
have anything else you want to bring up.
I
quickly.
kind of, but that can be for the very end if we have time.
All right, we'll go right to the end. If there was one thing that you could say to someone who's either just starting their creative journey or just starting to take it seriously, let's say particularly someone who's interested in film, what would that piece of advice be? It can be as big or as small as you want. It can be as small as eat wheat Bix for breakfast. I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
For the 25% of US listeners, wheat Bix is a breakfast.
Get some Weet-Bix, they're good for you.
I don't know where to start. I think I'll probably just speak from my own kind of mental journey. I think if you're going to go on a film, do it because you really it's like your lifeline. You can't, like, everything else doesn't really, like, for me, I feel like I only really get fulfillment out of film. Every other kind of work I've never really definitely just, if you feel like you need to do it, just do it. That's my advice, I guess. You might not always end up in the role you thought you were going to go into when you went into like planning your film out. Like, I was thinking I was going to be a camera guy or something, or a cinematographer when going into this, and I turned out directing, which I never expected, like straight out of school. I never expected to be a director, but you'll really kind of discover where your calling is in the film industry when you're on set, I think, and then like kind of learn about yourself and how you act in stressful situations. But I definitely just say, you've got to really just care about it, because it's an uphill battle, the film industry. You're not going to get like the work you want straight away, and it's not going to be easy, but I think every day spending time trying to find that creative job you want is a lot better than just not trying at all. So that's
Yeah.
No, that's good. I'd probably say more along the lines of, if you have an idea or you have this story,
Yeah.
don't let people put you down, and don't let them like talk you out of what you want to create.
Yeah.
If you have something that you want to do and it's something that you've been like nourishing and trying to develop, just because one group doesn't like the idea or doesn't think that it's going to work, it doesn't mean that everywhere you go you're going to find the same reaction. There will always be people that love an idea and people that do not. What you have to do is persevere and try and find the people that will actually help you develop it more and fix it, rather than push you down and try to get you to move on.
Yeah.
It's like one of my script writing teachers, Simon Taylor. He's a very lovely man. He was always telling me about rejection letters and acceptance letters, and how you will always get more rejection letters than acceptance letters when it comes to writing scripts or promoting ideas in films. You need to be prepared for a very kind of steep up battle, because it can be very taxing, obviously, getting 20, 30, 50 rejection emails in a week.
Yeah.
But once you get that one acceptance letter, that's it. You're set. You're good to go. You can finally progress with your life. It's just about getting to that point and not quitting because you don't think you're good enough.
Yeah. That's
Awesome.
That's really good. Both of those are fantastic.
Wow. Yeah.
Do you want to ask your last thing?
No, you go.
Yeah, mine's a closer.
Don't be shy. Just ask away.
Okay. This is not, I guess, related, really. But if there was one thing, or one role or one thing within your job, so director and producer, that you didn't have to do, or that you really, really hated, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a fun question.
Mine's working with him.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow. I've got to think about that now. You got me thinking.
Man, I thought this would be.
I guess I don't know. I think I enjoyed everything in my role. I think it was everything that wasn't my job that I had to do. I just enjoyed like trying to help track down locations nonstop, and that chewing up a lot of my time.
I was going to say budget, but then I was like, yeah, that's not technically my job
Locations.
anyway.
No, I can't. In my job in particular, if that's what you mean, I can't think of anything I didn't enjoy. I think even the writing is as tough as it can be for me sometimes. I get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's my answer. Yeah.
I don't consider it something I hate, but like after a while, being the person that everyone goes to, it's not that it gets taxing, it's that you've got so many of the different situations happening at the same time that you can sometimes get your wires crossed.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll go to one person and be like, hey, I've got this to fix that, and they're like, I don't know what the fuck you're on
You got
about.
me 3
I don't know
times a
what you're
week, just be like, Mitch.
Yeah, things like that. So, like, I wouldn't say cut it out completely, but I'd say, like, perhaps, like, what I'm thinking of doing in the future is having a personal phone and a work phone.
Yeah.
And funneling everything into the work phone so it doesn't affect me
Yeah.
when I'm in personal time.
Smart.
And doing something like that, I think, would kind of make me
Yeah.
not hate, but, like, not get begrudging and a bit tired from it
Yeah.
a bit less, yeah.
I am currently in the process of doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart.
All right. Well, we'll
Yeah,
finish
great.
up. We've got
Good timing.
a couple more minutes. So,
Hey, there we go.
We,
I will
we, could,
say-
we could plug the trailer in here. If we,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Please.
Well, no. You know what we'll do? We'll put a link right in the description. By the time this episode is out, it will be coming out tomorrow night.
Okay.
So if you're in Brisbane, there are still tickets available. I'll put a link for the booking in the description as well. It is in New Farm, and there are 3 sessions.
3 sessions?
3 sessions starting at 6 o'clock.
Yes, I believe.
6:40 and 7:30.
Yes, I believe so.
Great. Wow.
We're pretty sure. We organised it, but we're only kind of sure. Yeah.
Yeah. If you come to the later one, we'll probably be there.
Oh, there you go. Meet and greet.
So upstage.
Bring some posters along and get some signatures.
Yeah.
Sit at a table at the front. Big banners.
No, before we finish though, I wanted to ask: is there anything that you want to talk about that hasn't come up? Anything that you were like on the drive over here, you were like, man, that'd be a really fun story to tell, or that would be really, inspirational. You don't both have to have something, but if there is something,
Oh gosh, no, my life is just a big ball of boring. I've got nothing to share.
All right, fair enough.
I wouldn't
here
have
we go.
mind discussing how many locations we slept in.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, I could
finish up.
say that I am planning on doing more film work next year. I'm currently in the middle of writing a sci-fi, and I'm pretty excited about it. I think there's an interesting Australian theme in there that I want to touch on. I have a bit of Aboriginal themes in there too. I'm going to get in contact with some people to make sure I'm doing that story justice.
Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to that project. And if there's any aspiring filmmakers out there, we always need extra film crew. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I'm already quite booked out, but if you need a DP,
Yeah.
Don't tempt me.
no, awesome. Yeah, give us the number. That'll be our closer. How many places did you sleep in?
And how many
it
rocks
was-
did you sleep under?
I think it was 3 different locations we found people sleeping in. 2 of them were people sleeping overnight, and on our 3rd location, because our days were going till like 3:30 a.m.,
Yeah.
we found people occasionally sleeping in like the back rooms. we once found like this group of 5 people. They're all like snuggled up to each other in the corner, just having a nap.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Like
wow.
in between setup time and filming time, we're all just like, "You've earned it. We're gonna let you.
The Henrietta
You've got
crew
your
was
hour.
close.
We'll come get you later."
We're still doing lighting. You guys are fine.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I tell you what, in our proof of concept, we slept at a campsite
Yeah.
about 20 minutes from location.
That was fun.
You would not be able to get any cast to do that again. No one had a good time doing that.
Yeah, you know what? Fair enough.
The cinematographer was so sick of it. On the second night, he just booked a hotel down the road. And he was like, "Yo, Matt, there's still one bed left." I'm
Yeah.
like,
We
"Director
had-
privileges. I need the rest."
Yeah, we had people booking hotels. We had some people going like, "I'm actually going to do the 2 hours drive each way."
Wow.
I was
Wow.
it was crazy.
Jeez.
Fair enough. I respect it.
Man. Good on him.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, first of all, where can people find you guys?
Oh, gosh.
Not physically, but online.
Instagram, Facebook. I have an IMDB now where you can find all the different projects I'm working and have worked on. I don't know about you, Matt. What do you?
I mean,
on?
you set up my IMDb, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've got to set it up, but you put me on there.
Yeah, so Matthew's name is on there. Eventually, he'll put a picture on there so you can kind of link the face to the name. But obviously, look for Matthew King and Henrietta, and you'll find your way there.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have a little tradition on the show to finish it off.
We haven't done it with 4 people before.
We've never done it with
Man.
4 people. So I'm thinking, Joe,
Yep. Okay.
we go 1, 2, 3, button.
Okay.
Are we,
Or we can just go
No, let's just
1,
do
2,
4.
3. Let's just do 4?
No, this way, because guests always go last.
well, I
Okay.
hope you're on my
Alright.
team because
So
I don't
I'll
know
go
what's going on
first.
over here.
Okay. So at the end of every episode, we say bye. The way that we do it is we go down the line. So we go bye, bye. Normally we go bye, 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 and then we press the button, which is our little outro.
Right.
But because there's 4 of us, we're going to go bye, 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 bye. Okay?
Okay.
Are we going to press the button?
No, we
Sorry, we've never done this with 4 people.
Yeah, we'll have to. 'cause
We'll wing it,
their
we'll
mics
wing
are
it.
saying
That's what we're good at.
I'll
Okay,
go.
okay. So we're gonna go bye, 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 and then we're gonna press the button, and then that's it. All right.
Alright.
So
Okay.
if there's anything you want to say before we finish,
Yeah.
this is the moment.
Thank you for having us on the show. It's been a good, fun time.
Yeah. No.
Thank you for
it's
coming
great,
on.
actually.
You had a great time. I'm so excited.
Please bring us back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'll give you an overseas call.
Yes. Great
Yeah.
plan. Well, potentially episode 100 is coming up, so we're thinking of doing a little something with
Yeah.
all the prior guests. So we don't know what that's going to be yet, and this is the first time I'm mentioning it on the show.
It's supposed to be mentioned to me. No.
So yeah. This is it's his idea.
It's his one.
But we'll see where we go. So
Okay.
anyway, awesome. Well, I will do the little outro and then we'll do the bye-byes. All right?
There you go.
Thank you so much for listening to or watching this episode of the
Thank
Froe
you.
Show. We hope we got you to wherever you were going safely, and we are looking forward to seeing you next week. Thank you so much.
Bye.
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 That was beautiful. Well done. Well done, boys. Well done.
That was good fun. Good. I thought I was going to crumble.
No, it goes really quickly. Hey?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That does not feel like an hour.
No.
Yeah, that was an